Looking for a new and modern audio mixer or audio interface for your gaming, your streaming, your podcasting, your YouTube content creation like this? Well, then you're probably going to want to look into something like this because this is pretty modern and sleek, digital all touch audio interface by Lewitt. That's right. And this is their Lewitt Aura Ray microphone as well. Two, I guess, hand-in-hand devices that should kind of go together. This is not USB. This is actually an XLR condenser style microphone. And we have a USB interface right here. And we're going to go through it today so we can see maybe this is for you. Maybe this dual setup is for you. I don't know. I know this microphone is pretty awesome. I like the Aura technology built into it. So when I step back, it kind of boosts the gain up to pick me up. And I step in close, it lowers the gain so that it doesn't sound too loud. This combo right here, I think, is going to fit the bill of the higher quality for singing and instruments. That's right, voiceovers as well, because the quality of the microphone is good. And I'm going to combine it with the functionality of this interface. Looks pretty sleek. It's flat on your desk and has a bunch of touch sensors and dials. There aren't any hard buttons on this that I'm seeing. So let's dig into what the Connect 2 is in our face, techies and gamers. This may be something for you and it may be something for me. I may just stop using all my other audio mixers, my budget cheap audio mixers, and go with something a little bit more high profile and digital modern like this. Let's dive into the unboxing right now. Ow. Before we start unboxing, if this is your kind of thing, as usual, like, subscribe for continued me rolling continually up on your feed so that you can get up to date with some of the more budget audio and studio gear, I guess, for your content creation, your podcasting, and your gaming. Off the top in your box, as you can see, we are getting some Lewitt stickers, a little bit of a decal. You can stick this in your face, on your forehead if you like stickers, so that way you know that you support the Lewitt company. Instructions, I think this is for your registering of your device and find the perfect microphone for the Connect 2. So I guess they're saying one of their microphones is the perfect mic for it. USB-C to USB-C cable technology in your face, techies and gamers, and their cables also has their branding as well as a little bit of Velcro strapping. Also in the packet is a USB-C to USB-A adapter and the same thing, a little bit of their branding and a little bit of dust. Taking out our, wow, okay, a little bit of weight. I like weight because weight sometimes equals quality, I guess. I don't know. Okay, so your device will come like this, and it is in fact very flat. And this is what you got in your face, techies and gamers. This looks quite cool. You have your little circular dial and a bunch of buttons along the side and one up here on the top. Lewitt branding on the top, awesome sauce. On the back, you got a QR code. What is that QR code for? Scan and so what? Can't. Where did I learn to read? What? Scan to launch quick start guide. So in case you need a quick start guide to get set up. All right, pretty cool. Let's peel off this little sticker decal here, which is, oh, sorry, that's not the real sound. Nice reflective glossy top piece there with a little bit of matte, I guess, so you don't get fingerprints unless you eat fried chicken when you're recording. What? And on the back, what do we got? We have a 48 volts button, which you will need 48 volts for their Aura mic to work. XLR connection, instrument, left and right. I presume that is output for speakers. Dual monitoring there, and of course a USB-C, 100% touch sensitive. My techies and gamers out there, so no clicky sounds. Let's get this guy plugged in and see what it's all about. Snap my finger. So the first bit of business is to go over to the Lewitt website and go to the downloads page and download the software and drivers for your Connect 2. As you can see right here, so there's two options for downloading. One is for the Windows and one is for Mac. You go ahead and run that, install it. It will install your drivers. I have already done so there's not much for me to show you here. It's like you install any other piece of software. We have our interface and our software running, and as you can see, it's kind of a nice basic visual little companion and controller for this device, which is so far has been awesome. Aside from a couple of hiccups, which I'll get to at the end. This may be a deal breaker. It may not be. We'll find out. Stick around to the end. So right now you see we are in the software and you are hearing the microphone and you are hearing all the wonderful glory of the Aura by Lewitt. It's called the Lewitt Ray microphone, and the Aura is the technology, which is like for picking up your aura or your presence in proximity to the microphone. We do have the ability here to check for updates for the software as well as for firmware. Right now I am connected and there was a firmware update updated to the latest firmware, and it is now currently working. And over here you have options for audio, so map native volume controls to headphone speakers. Right now I'm using headphones. That's going to be my current inputs because I am monitoring. Buffer size, grid lock, and some other options here you can mess around with. High impedance headphones, I would recommend if you have those to turn those on, because even with non-high impedance headphones you get like a lower, somewhat lower volume, and this right here is going to get you a nice gain pickup with this mixer, so I would recommend turning that on. If we go down to LEDs, you can actually control the color of your LEDs. Let's go to my instruments. Since I have nothing, as you can see, it's set to blue, the parameter, right? And the parameter is where you are pretty much leveled at. If I'm here about, I don't know, it's at 75%ish. You can change that parameter color to be something different. Maybe I can turn it to like a magenta, and you'll see that now my parameter is magenta. So that's where the max volume is. And if I switch over to headphones, you'll see that my parameter there is the magenta color. And I can do the same for the volume levels, which is the metering. And I would probably change the metering to, I don't know, let's turn metering to green, some kind of green right here, right? Bump it over to green, and you can see that it kind of changes on the fly. So now I have green metering and magenta parameter there. So that's kind of cool. Mute, I would keep it red. I like the red color. It's robust and it lets you know that something is off, more or less. That's kind of like a standard in my opinion. And you can even change your icons. So right now the icons are white. And if I wanted to change the icons to, I don't know, maybe yellow, that would be cool to make your device nice and colorful. There's a custom button here. With this custom button, you can customize this button right here. And right now this little button is like a circular dotted icon. It's set to launch the control center, essentially. So if it's not launched here, if I close this and I close, it's not going to close it, but it's going to minimize it. If I press it, it's going to go ahead and bring it up to my desktop. So that's kind of what that's set to. And there are other settings you can set it to. You can toggle to set your instrument preamp styles. You can toggle these other options here, dim the outputs, mono to stereo, that sort of thing. So pretty cool that you can customize this button here. So these are just the only options that you can customize them to. Right now there are some settings set. I am set to clean and I have these settings here. It's cool that when you hover over it, it shows you what it is there at the bottom left. Remove low frequency rumble. So if right now it's on because it's highlighted in green and outlined, but if I turn it off, you're gonna get a little bit more rumble and probably just a little bit more bass in my voice. And if I stay quiet, you can hear that rumble. You can see it there, my gain levels toggling up and down. If I press it again, it kills off a little bit of that rumble, right? So this is probably a handy thing to have if you have a very deep voice like myself, and if you want to mitigate some of that rumble in the background. 48 volts power. The Lewitt Ray requires 48 volts, so be sure you turn that on if you're using the Lewitt Ray microphone. Not all microphones require 48 volts. And then here you have clip guard. Well, essentially clip guard is to help from clipping when you're speaking loud into your microphone and you get that distortion. Right now I have just turned it off, so if I spoke into the microphone, you're gonna hear the distortion. But with clip guard on, if I speak into the microphone, you won't get the distortion, and you see it'll keep my sound relatively clean and loud, and it'll prevent it from going past and beyond the red. I would recommend using that clip guard, which kind of is essentially functioning like a limiter, more or less. Then right here you have your gain level for your mic. So 43, 44 is a pretty good level right here. Changing the preamp style. So right now we're on clean, but I can easily press this right here and turn it to a more warm, broadcasty, and it really applies a lot more of this low frequency rumble removal thing here. And over here we have vivid. This is going to open up that microphone and you're going to get that super crispy get a crispy sound, and this is probably good for singing, or even if you have like an instrument in front of it, in front of a microphone. This sounds fantastic. I like the crispiness of this, and well, this device is in fact 24-bit as well as this microphone, so you're going to get some good, clean, fantastic audio, and I would suspect so at this price point. Then there is a Denoise. So this is going to basically analyze your room when you're not speaking and pick up all of the low end and whatever other noises you got going on and create a custom denoise based on your environment. So I'm going to do that now, and boy, do I have some noise. All right, let's click that, and you're going to see the timer go down, and I'm going to stay quiet. Here we go. Okay, and it has applied a denoise based off my environment. Super quiet, so it's killing out that super loud HVAC, but when I speak, a little bit of that noise is still creeping in, so it sounds like it's a staticky, which it's not the best suited environment for podcasting or voiceovers or anything like that. So, and then right here on the right side, we have a louder signal, which is going to basically act as a compressor, right? For compression. And essentially what that's going to do is to compensate for your super lows and bring those up, and your super high volumes and kind of keep those down and keep your voice consistently level. That's why it says consistent level, right? So we're going to click that. So now we have the compression or compressor running. And if I talk low, it's going to be able to pick me up. And I'm even sitting back a little bit. It definitely is going to pick me up. But if I talk loud, it's definitely going to keep that loudness down. So if you look at the peak levels, it's going up to about minus 12 dB there. And if I talk low, it's still not going to go that far low. It's still right there at the 24 dB, 24 to 18. Not bad. Okay, so this works well for keeping a moderation of good level of your audio. And all of the things you can do here, you can pretty much do with your instrument connected, except for the 48 volts, obviously, but all else is there. And then there's this little icon right here. This right here, Techies and Gamers, is the same icon you see here in the center of the Lewitt device. That's right. So if you press that, it's going to set off an automatic input gain, right? This is to automate their sound quality, your room environment, just so that you can get the best audio for your devices right here. So we're going to go ahead and click that. And essentially what it has done is it set a parameter for the best possible audio, I think, for your environment. And right, woof, maybe just a little too much gain, maybe not the best. So let's lower that gain a little bit. I like it around 40. In the mid 40s is probably best. If anything higher than that, my headphones is too close to the microphone and you're going to get that feedback. Similarly, you have an auto setup here as well, which is essentially that very same thing. But when you click auto setup, you can do it to 3 different things. You can do it to a microphone, you can do it to an instrument, and you can do it in combo. So this is the same thing as what I just did there, but just a little bit more to it, right? 48 volts, yes, it is on. Yes, we want to keep low cut on. It's going to do the same thing. Okay, and then it gives you options, more options if you want to go with clean audio for your preamp, warm or vivid. I'm going to keep it clean. And if you want to put compression on. So basically it gives you options to more granularly set the settings you want instead of doing it automatically all. And maybe you don't want compression on or not, but I'll keep the compression on. You want denoise on. Start measure. Clip guard on. Finish. And as you can see, it actually set my levels to 39. My audio now sounds really clean. And even with my HVAC going in the background, I don't hear nearly as much of that noise. I do hear the denoise. It's pretty harsh. It may have added just a tad more denoise than I would have liked. And then over here we have things like loop back. You have your outputs, which has little speaker icons, and of course the level of your headphones. And if I switch here to headphones, right now I have my headphones maxed out, but as I swing down, right, spin it down a little bit, you notice that it's pretty nice with the timing on the software. It's pretty much almost real time there with the way the software works with the dial here. A little bit faster than what you have on the actual interface. You see the interface is just a little bit of a lag there. I can kind of pass it, and depending how fast you go. But I will say that it's very responsive. I've seen videos where there've been some issues with the responsiveness of this and it getting stuck. But so far, I haven't had any issues with this dial here. It's been working fantastic for me. There's the universal mute where you hold your mute button for a few seconds and they all get muted at the same time. This is my monitor mix button here on the bottom right. So all the way to the right is all computer audio. I'll lose my microphone audio. I can't hear it. That's really for monitoring. And if I go over to the microphone, it's only for mic monitoring. Then over here we have, wow, look at that. We have the bit rate. We have it at 48 kilohertz. I switched to earlier. We have 41, and then we have 96. Now, 96 is great to have. Now, the only thing with 96 kilohertz is that you will lose the ability to use the denoise and the compression. Now, there is this center button, which is also the same as this button you see here for automatically setting up your gain. And if you click that, it's going to do an auto setup. You have to click which device you want to set up. We're going to set up the microphone. It has automatically set up the gain level. And ironically, or coincidentally, it's about the same gain level that I said earlier, which is mid 40s. So, okay. And there you have it, takers and gamers, the Lewitt Connect 2 audio interface. What do I think about it? So first and foremost, the functionality and everything of it is pretty nice. The buttons are very responsive, has lots of built-in features. The XLR works pretty good in combination with the microphone itself, the Aura Ray microphone. Of course, they are a match made in heaven. It's all by Lewitt, so there's no problems or bugs happening with the microphone and the interface itself. The sound quality is fantastic. The customization with your microphones and instruments is also another fantastic thing. You can do auto setup for auto customization to get the best quality sound, to mitigate noise from your background. Like I had a lot of noise, a little bit of a lag between the responsiveness of when you're sliding your finger around it and the LEDs catching up to you. Now in the software, it's more real time than it is on the actual interface, but that's really a nitpicking. That's not a big issue. So that's not a reason not to get it. It's not a deal breaker in the least. The software itself is pretty decent. I'm looking at it here on my desktop and I do like all the features that's built into it. It's a pretty nice setup and ecosystem you got going on here between the software and the interface and the microphone, all doing individual things to make the best of your audio. Everything is fantastic except for maybe a couple of things that gave me a little bit of a headache, and I'm still trying to get over the headache after 16 Tylenols. What? So I was finding that, at least in my setup, that the device would disconnect from my computer because of one main thing. And it's my fault. And well, I guess it's my fault. Maybe it should work this way, but the issue was running it through a USB extender or a hub, for example, not going directly into my PC, was causing the device to crash, and I was losing signal through my headset, through my monitoring. So the mic works, the monitoring stops working, and all of these little bugs, mainly the disconnecting of the device from my computer via a hub or a USB extender or any other USB cables that I have here, even some decent quality USB cables, wasn't working properly with the device itself. It powers it on, but you're not seeing data connections even with other USB data cables. What you're gonna want to do to make this thing work its best is to use the cable that comes with it. Other than that hiccup, everything else on this works fantastic. So if you are interested in this device, links are in the descriptions down below. Go ahead and snag yourself up one. Let me know what you think of this setup of this audio device, what the quality is like in your ears. I know you're probably not getting the true full sample rate, obviously, but you can get some decent sound audio and get a feel for it. I'm gonna go eat dinner because I'm hungry. I've been tinkering around with this all day, and I'll see you in my next video. Maybe, I don't know. What?